You know those moments when you think you're walking into a grand adventure expecting dragons, secret passageways, and a haunted abbey, but instead you find an overly polite tea party where everyone's main concern is, who's marrying whom? That, my friends, was my experience reading today's book. Picture this: a young girl named Catherine Morland, who might as well be your typical 19th century bookworm. Dreamy, innocent, with a head stuffed full of Gothic novels. Catherine is so in love with wild and creepy tales that she starts to believe the world works like one. Imagine walking into a house and thinking, where's the coffin hidden under the bed? Surely the walls are full of secrets. That's Catherine. And yes, she's exactly the kind of character you simultaneously root for and shake your head at. So Catherine's life starts out pretty ordinary. She's not from some wealthy, prestigious family. Her parents are simple country folk with a respectable number of children, 10 to be precise. Because in 18th century England, people didn't just have children, they collected them like rare stamps. When Catherine gets the chance to visit Bath with family friends, the Allens, it feels like she's been invited to the hottest Netflix premiere of the year. Bath, in the early 1800s, was the place where you went if you wanted to see and be seen. Think of it as the Regency version of Instagram, where people paraded in fine clothes, exchanged pleasantries, and obsessed over who was talking to whom. It's here that Catherine meets two very different sets of people who will define her adventure. First, there's Henry Tilney and his sister Eleanor, kind, polite, and very proper. And then there's Isabella Thorpe and her brother John. Oh boy. If Henry Tilney is a fine gentleman offering you a thoughtful cup of tea, John Thorpe is the guy who spills the tea all over you and then asks if you're impressed with his carriage. Isabella, of course, immediately latches on to Catherine because Catherine is sweet and naive, and Isabella thrives on manipulating sweet and naive people. She's the sort who showers Catherine with compliments while secretly calculating how to climb the social ladder. Meanwhile, Catherine is doing what any good Austen heroine does. Learning how to navigate society's endless rules, dances, and conversations that go something like, "Good morning. Indeed, it is a very good morning. Do you find the weather agreeable? Yes, though not so agreeable as yesterday, but perhaps more agreeable than tomorrow." Now here's where things get juicy, at least in Catherine's imagination. She's been reading so many Gothic novels, full of mysterious castles, dark secrets, and sinister villains, that when she gets invited to the Tilneys' home, Northanger Abbey, she's convinced it's basically the setting of a horror story. You have to love Catherine's wild imagination. A creaky floorboard? Clearly the sign of a murdered countess buried in the basement. A locked chest? It must contain forbidden letters, probably written in blood. Of course, Henry Tilney, who is both amused and bewildered by Catherine's Gothic fantasies, gently teases her about it. But Catherine is undeterred, at least until she finally realizes that, no, the Tilneys are not hiding skeletons in the closet. The biggest scandal in the house is General Tilney's obsession with money and social rank, which, to be fair, is its own kind of horror story. While all this Gothic daydreaming is going on, Isabella Thorpe is busy being, well, Isabella. She strings along Catherine's brother, James Morland, with promises of love, only to drop him like a hot potato the moment a richer man enters the scene. And Catherine, poor Catherine, has to watch as her so-called friend reveals her true colors. The real turning point for Catherine comes when she starts realizing that real life isn't a Gothic novel. There are no haunted abbeys or secret murders, just people with their own selfish motives and ambitions. And in that quiet, understated way that Jane Austen loves, Catherine matures. She grows from a girl lost in stories to a young woman who learns to see people for who they are. And of course, this wouldn't be an Austen novel without some romance. Catherine and Henry Tilney have one of those sweet, slow-burn courtships that Austen does so well. Henry is witty, charming, and kind, and he actually respects Catherine. Imagine that, a man who respects a woman. By the end, Catherine and Henry get their happy ending, though not without some interference from General Tilney, who throws a tantrum when he learns Catherine isn't wealthy enough. But love wins, as it always does in Austen land.
Go on with what you were going to say.
Will you marry me, Catherine?
Yes. Yes, I will.
The book I've been describing is none other than Northanger Abbey, published by Premier Classics in 1818. and it's got 241 pages, written by Jane Austen. Now let me be honest with you. I went into this book with sky-high expectations because of my love for Pride and Prejudice. That book sparkled with wit and energy. Every page was alive. So naturally, I thought Northanger Abbey would sweep me off my feet too. But I'll be real, it didn't quite hit the mark for me. Part of the disappointment might be on me. Maybe I wasn't mentally prepared for another dive into English classical literature with its overly refined and polite language. You know how sometimes you sit down to read, but your brain is just not in the right mood? That could have been me. Or maybe it was the subject matter. Catherine's obsession with Gothic novels, while funny and relatable, didn't resonate as much as Elizabeth Bennet's sharp wit in Pride and Prejudice. That said, I didn't dislike Northanger Abbey. In fact, I enjoyed the way Austen pokes fun at the social customs of marriage in her time. She has this sly, sarcastic way of describing things that makes you laugh while realizing how absurd society's rules were. It's very tongue-in-cheek. For example, the whole obsession with marriage, who's marrying whom, who's rich enough, who's respectable enough. Austen mocks it all, even while pretending to describe it faithfully. Through Catherine's journey, we see how much pressure young women faced just to make a good match. Reading this in 2025, it's fascinating to see how far we've come as a society in terms of freedom, choice, and priorities. One of the key themes here is imagination versus reality. Catherine's Gothic fantasies are a kind of lens through which she views the world, but ultimately, Austen shows us that life's dramas are not found in haunted abbeys. They're found in the drawing rooms and ballrooms, in the tiny social interactions that shape our lives. Another theme is growth and maturity. Catherine starts as a naive girl, but by the end, she's learned to judge people's characters for herself, rather than seeing them as characters in one of her books. And then there's the mockery of social expectations. Austen never misses an opportunity to poke fun at the rigid class structures and marriage obsessions of her time. Even though Northanger Abbey was one of her earlier works, you can already see the sharp wit that would make Pride and Prejudice a masterpiece. Jane Austen, who lived from 1775 to 1817, is, of course, one of the most beloved authors in English literature. She only published 6 novels in her lifetime, but each one has left an enormous mark on the literary world. Northanger Abbey was actually published posthumously in 1818, alongside Persuasion. It's considered one of her lighter, more playful works, especially because of its parody of Gothic novels, which were all the rage at the time. In the end, I left Northanger Abbey with a strange feeling, like I'd let Jane Austen down, even though my little disappointment won't add or subtract anything from her legendary fame. I'm willing to revisit this book in the future, maybe with a clearer mind and better appreciation for its humor and subtlety. Have you read Northanger Abbey? Did you love it? Or were you, like me, expecting something different? Maybe I read it the wrong way, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more classic book reviews. Until next time, happy reading. And may all your adventures be slightly less Gothic than Catherine Morland's. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.